Hi, I'm Daniel Foley from the Abundant Life Training Center, and welcome to this week's yearly cycle updates. We are in the end of November, and we are approaching Hanukkah. Hanukkah starts on the evening of December 10th and lasts for 8 nights. Now, the Feast of Hanukkah is a reminder of a time when God's people took back control of the temple. They had lost control of the temple, and they take it back, and they only have enough oil to light the lamps in the temple for one night. But God does the miraculous and makes the oil last for 8 nights. So the Feast of Hanukkah is called the Feast of Dedication. This is a reminder that we're supposed to be dedicating ourselves to God's plan for our lives, dedicating ourselves to God's standard for our lives. I recently wrote a book called The Eighth Date, and we talk about implementing God's standard for our lives, which his standard is grace. His standard is to do continually good for others, just like he's doing for us, to offer people the same grace that God is giving us, and also to let God's grace, to begin to see God's grace empower us in everything that we do, so that we rest from our works and God does his work through us. Now, in the Feast of Hanukkah, they have this tradition where on the first night, they light one candle, and then the next night, they light a second candle, and so on for 8 days. So every night, the light from the candle is growing brighter and brighter. This is a reminder that our light is supposed to be growing brighter and brighter. During this time of the year, we're moving into the winter time. This is a darker time of the year. It gets dark earlier. It's a darker time of the year. This is a reminder that God can make light shine out of darkness. You think of the beginning of the Bible. Everything is dark, and God says, light be. God makes light shine out of the darkness. In Isaiah chapter 60, verse number 1, especially in the Amplified version, it says, "Arise, let your light shine, for God's light, his glory is shining upon you. He'll be your light. He'll be your glory." This is a reminder to let our light shine brighter and brighter. If we'll begin to apply this standard of grace, of learning to receive God's grace on one end, to learn to rest from our works and let God do his work through us. So we rest, we take the pressure off of ourselves, we rely on God's power, his presence flowing through us. And then we will focus on, as we rest, that opens our eyes. We increase our presence. That opens our eyes to all kinds of opportunities to be a blessing to people all around us. And we give them the same grace that God is giving to us. If we will do that, what's going to happen is our light is going to shine brighter and brighter. If we'll make a bold, decisive, dedicated, committed action to implementing God's standard for our lives of grace, then we're going to find that our light shines brighter and brighter, and God's going to begin to set us free, hopefully, to new levels, to higher and higher levels. I do believe, we talk about the yearly cycle a lot. I do believe God has created every single year to lead to breakthroughs in your life, to set you free to higher and higher levels every year in your life, to experience more and more freedom every single year. But how do we do it? We take back control of the temple, and we implement God's standard of grace, and we let our light shine brighter and brighter by receiving his grace, letting it flow through us, and then doing continually good for others. As we increase our presence and we do continually good for others, that grace flows through us, and our light shines brighter and brighter every day. But I hope this message has been helpful for you. If you want to learn more about this concept of implementing the standard of grace into your life, you can check out the book, The Eighth Date, God's Operating System for Abundant Life. We've also got some classes going on. We've got the Miracle Year class that's going on. You can check out more on the Miracle Year class at the AbundantLifeTrainingCenter.com. And if you wanted to join us in our program, the Abundant Life Blueprint, we also have got some regular training where we talk about how to implement the standard into our lives as well. But if there's a dark place in your life, begin to implement this standard of grace. Begin to rely on God's power. Bring it to God. Bring that frustrated area to God. Bring it to him. Allow his grace to work in that area. And you rest. Take the pressure off of yourself. And you focus on being a continual blessing to all the people around you. Look for opportunities to be a blessing. If you will do that, your light will shine brighter and brighter, and those areas will begin to turn in your lives. So like I said, I hope this has been helpful for you, and we'll be back next week with some more yearly cycle updates.